Hey there, it's Katie from Health, Wellness, and Chocolate, and you are listening to the Health, Wellness, and Chocolate podcast. So thank you so much for joining me here. What I wanted to talk about is right now it is the end of June, and we are looking on into July. And in the United States, July 4th is a huge holiday, and we have tons of barbecues and just lots of excuses to get together with friends and really take a more relaxed approach to life in general, and going on vacations and traveling. And so our routine, our day-to-day routine can be interrupted. And some people will use that as an excuse to say, well, when I get back from vacation or when I get after the 4th of July or whatever, then I'll start to eat healthy again. So what I wanted to do was just give you some ideas of things that you can do for your health and wellness that won't be too hard to do, but will still support you on your health and wellness goals. So like the whole thing doesn't have to go out the window, because I know a lot of times when we're chronic dieters, we think like, okay, well, I can't eat perfectly. I'm on vacation, so I might as well just eat everything. And then there goes all the hard work you've been putting in for the last few months, right? So what I wanted to do is just kind of give you some tips and say, okay, if you want to go on vacation and have an awesome time, do it, right? But don't do it at the expense of eating well or feeling good. Also, like if you wanted to go to the 4th of July barbecues and you feel like, well, I've got to eat everything because this is a special occasion, I want you to like start to pay attention to the thoughts that your brain is kind of giving you, or the excuses your brain is giving you as to why that's a fantastic idea. And actually start to pay attention to like what you're hearing inside your brain. You know, one of the things that I had to tell myself when I started this health and wellness journey was like, Katie, you're an adult. You do not have to eat so much food because you feel like this scarcity mindset, like where you feel like, well, I don't know when the next time is I'm going to be able to eat this. Like, you're an adult. You're not in some exotic land like you're in Pennsylvania. It's pretty likely you'll be able to get this food again at another time and actually eat it when you are hungry, and it will probably taste better. It's like I had to really pay attention to what my brain was doing and be like, no, I should have more fried chicken because who knows when I'll get that chance again. And I was like, wait a second, that is not true. Like, I can get fried chicken. I'm an adult. And if I want it, I can go eat it when I want it. But I don't have to overeat right now just to shove it in because I never know when I'm going to get it. Okay. And so kind of catching those thoughts that you have around food, especially when you're on vacation or at barbecues, and paying attention to them and actually challenging them will help you in the long run, support your health and wellness goals. So the people in my health and wellness blueprint, I always have them write down what they're going to eat 24 hours ahead of time so that the next day they know already what they're going to be eating, and they eat according to their plan. And then I give them some more tools, what to do if they are tempted to eat off their plan or to go, totally off the rails, right? And I give them some tools to help them not do that. And one of the questions that came up this week was like, well, what am I going to eat at the picnic, because I'm not the one throwing the party. I don't know what food is going to be there, and I don't know how to plan ahead for that. So what do I do? Do I just say, forget it for that day? Since I can't eat perfectly, I might as well just eat everything. So this was my response, and I wanted to share it with you because I know the holiday is coming up, and you can apply this to anything, really, any kind of special occasion. But I just thought it was timely and it might help you. So this was my response. I said, look, chances are, like for me, I wasn't going to some exotic country where I could never have the Lord fried chicken ever again, right? Like it was, Pennsylvania. And so fried chicken's pretty abundant. I don't have to worry about that. I also don't have to pig out on it just because it is a special occasion, right? So one of the things I had to start to train my brain was like, put things in perspective. Don't make them bigger than they are, or more special than they really are, just because that's what your brain will want to do. Like, oh, you should have 3 desserts because look at the buffet table at this barbecue. It's amazing. And so you should really eat the brownies, the cookies, and that sheet cake, because whenever is there ever going to be those opportunities again? It's like, no, that's not true. I planned for dessert. I said I'd have a cookie, or I said I'd pick, have 5 bites of the most delicious dessert on the buffet line there was. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to stick to. Right. So there's ways that you can go about planning ahead for your health and wellness, right? From that spot in your brain, that prefrontal cortex region that is in charge of your planning, your long-term goals. Okay, when you plan 24 hours ahead of time what you're going to eat, that's the region of your brain that you're using, and so that's the region of the brain that you want to use when you're planning, especially if you want to lose weight or improve your health and feel more, have more vitality. You want to use that region of your brain because it's got your back, right? So when you're planning ahead, say for the 4th of July barbecue, and you don't feel like, well, I have no control over what's going to be there, we can really peel it back to the basics, and then you can kind of build from there. So what would the basics be? Like a minimum baseline or like a floor or ceiling kind of idea where I'm going to have 6 ounces of some form of protein at this barbecue. Like it's a mystery. You don't know. You've never been to a barbecue before and you have no idea what's going to be there. Okay. So I'm going to have 6 ounces of some form of protein at this barbecue. And look, we live in America. There's probably going to be protein there. Okay. So whatever it might be, 6 ounces of a burger. If you're not quite sure how big 6 ounces is, like think of a deck of cards. That's about a serving size of protein. So that's about how much you would want to eat, right? So think about that when you're planning your food. So maybe it's grilled chicken, or maybe it's grilled shrimp or fish, or, maybe it's a burger or some ribs or something like that. But just kind of keep in mind, like about 6 ounces, because even if the food you pick is not the most nourishing, just paying attention to what you're eating will help go a long way to keeping your values in mind. So for example, you're going to pick, a protein that's about 6 ounces. Obviously, you're not going to have a scale there to measure it, but if you can visually conceptualize this idea of a deck of cards and then just kind of picture it on your plate and then kind of fill that spot with the protein. And then, go crazy. Have some fruit or have some vegetables. I'm sure there's going to be watermelon there. I'm sure there's going to be salad there. And then, maybe pick something as a treat that you really like, just a scoop of it and have a few bites. But you can plan all that. Like I'm going to have fruit and vegetables, and I'm going to have 6 ounces of protein, and I'm going to have 5 bites of a side dish that looks irresistible. And then you go to the barbecue and you don't feel like, oh man, there's nothing here I can eat. I don't know what to do. I'm on this stupid, diet, or I hate this. I'm just going to eat whatever and I'll worry about this tomorrow. Like you can plan ahead and actually have your own back. So that's something you want to do. And of course, like for breakfast and lunch or whatever time the barbecue is, like you're only there really probably for the time span of about one meal. So don't use that as an excuse to go completely off the rails for like the rest of the week or for the whole day, right? Like you still have other opportunities to eat really nourishing, delicious food for yourself that will support your health goals, because really, when you're done with a meal, you should feel satisfied. You should not feel stuffed or overfull. You never want to get on like that hunger scale to a 10. That's like Thanksgiving stuffed, right? You want to stay around a 7. And so when you're picking the food that you want to eat, you want to make sure that the food you're choosing will satisfy you. So if you're just eating really sugary food, you might feel full quickly, but then you're probably going to feel hungry really quick because your body will have that sugar dump, and you'll process the sugar pretty quickly and your body will sweep it out as best it can. But then you're going to be starving. I noticed that if I have a bagel, it's so high in carbohydrates that only an hour or two later, I am really hungry, hungrier than I was even before I had the bagel. And so I know like eating something like that is just going to set me up for overeating later because it's not serving me. So these are the things I want you to think about, is like what's going to serve you throughout the day so that you are able to stay on track with your health and wellness goals. Not necessarily be perfect, but at least at the end of the day, when the barbecue is over and you put your head on your pillow, you're not beating yourself up. You're not saying, why did I do that? I've been really great with my health and wellness and I don't know why I did this. Like, what's wrong with me? I must not have willpower, right? Like it's really not much to do with willpower as it is with just paying attention to what your brain wants to do, right? It wants to keep you happy and it wants to keep you safe. So if you're at a party, it's going to associate the food with being happy. And so you'll probably overeat just in response without really recognizing it. So what you want to do is just pick food that you know is going to feel satisfying, but plan ahead of time, very vaguely. Okay, 6 ounces of vegetables and like 6 ounces of protein. I'll have half my plate can be vegetables, and then, a portion of that can also be maybe a treat that I see that I really would like. And then once you eat, like, be done. Throw your plate out and like spend time with your friends and your family that maybe you haven't seen in a while because of COVID. Like, get together and like, don't make food the focus of the event. Try to branch out and have it be like, maybe get up for the first time and go play volleyball, or walk away from the food table and maybe go talk to someone who's sitting by themselves, right? Like, put yourself out there, form some new friendships, make food like that's there, put it in its proper place where it's not the most important part of the party. It's a part of the party, and you can eat and enjoy it and taste it and savor it, but then move on beyond that table. Move to the relationships, move to the fun, move on from just eating as the only form of connection that you have with people. And you will really set yourself up for some success when it comes to the barbecues and eating away from home, especially this time of year. Now, when you're eating on vacation, we just came back from vacation a few weeks ago. And what I did was, several reasons for this, but we have a bunch of kids. So eating out all the time, especially on vacation, really isn't, one, it's not really all that fun with the little guys. They get impatient, and then we're really just managing toddlers at restaurants, and like, we make everybody around us pretty miserable. So I try not to eat out too often with them. And Chris and I will sneak away for a date night, but I don't tend to do that if we're in a strange city and the kids are in a strange house. So we usually just kind of stay in. Plus, this past vacation we took, like I said before, was not. Chris had some really serious back issues, so it really wasn't, we really couldn't do a lot of sightseeing, touristy kind of things anyhow. So we did wind up eating most of the time at the house that we rented. But it was fine with me because we were able to plan ahead what we were going to pack with us and coolers to bring with us. And I was able to, make what I wanted to eat ahead of time for my breakfasts for the few days that we were away, and plan ahead with the kids too. Like, okay, I need this much food, this much bread, this many cold cuts, this many bags of salad, this many cans of chicken, whatever. Like, I was able to plan ahead. So what I would suggest, if you go away, you can still create your eating plan. And again, it can be this minimum baseline, like, I'm going to have this many ounces of protein. I'm going to have this many ounces of whatever it might be. I'm going to have maybe 3 fruits a day, 5 vegetables a day, whatever that might look like. Like, those are the minimum goals I'm going to hit every day. I'm going to make sure I drink X amount of water every day, and it depends on your eating plan, right? Because I don't tell you what to eat, because by the time people come to me, they've pretty much tried every single eating plan, and they realize, like, there's something more beneath the surface than just what to eat. And that's the part I'm missing. And so that's where I come in. We peel back the curtain on the food. So the food is there. And chances are, especially for the women that come to me, like, what makes you feel good. What makes you feel healthy. You know what is satisfying. You know how you feel nourished and you feel invigorated and you have vitality when you're eating well, right? And that's what I want you to think of when you're planning what to eat ahead of time, okay? Like, I know I feel great after I have a really nice, crisp, delicious salad that was like chock full of fruit, that's chock full of vegetables and some delicious grilled chicken that I made, right? Like, I leave that meal feeling invigorated, energized, proud of myself, so though, in your own life, like, what that looks like for you. And so you want to consider that when you're planning ahead. And even if you're eating out and away from home, you can still plan ahead and do it vaguely and still stick to those health goals. And like, so you can kind of create this minimum baseline of, I'm going to have this much protein every day. I'm going to have this many carbs. I'm going to have this many fruits, this many vegetables, this much fat a day, and however that plugs in is what I'm going to do, because I know that makes me feel energized. And this many ounces of water, and that's what vacation is going to look like. And maybe I'll say, two out of the 7 nights that we're there, I'm going to get dessert and it's going to be delicious, right? Like, you can plan ahead for that. And then when you go and you have the dessert, it's not like you're not beating yourself up for it, right? It's not like, oh man, would I do that? It's like, oh, this was so good, I'm glad I did that. And then you can move on. You can move on beyond the food, right? You can enjoy the vacation for the vacation's sake, and not use it just as an excuse to just overeat the whole time, right? Like, you can go explore new areas, maybe take a walk in a new neighborhood, like we always used to, people watch, but sometimes it's just fun to drive around and look at the different houses, and the way they landscape, and the different neighborhoods that you've never been in before, or like different walking paths or different attractions that maybe you've never gone to. Like, those things are just as good and will fill you up differently than just overeating and like, okay, now it's time to go eat again, and now it's time to try this restaurant again. Like, there's more to life than just eating and drinking, right? And so try to plan ahead, keep those minimum baselines of food that you want to eat, but then, take time to really consider, like, okay, this is the place I'm visiting, this is what's unique to that area, and I'm going to go learn about it more or experience it, enjoy it, so that I have those life experiences beyond just food. Okay. Now, food does play a huge role in a lot of places and regions where we go. And I'm not saying don't eat it. I'm saying plan ahead. Okay. If you're in the South, you might want to try different types of food. If you're in a foreign country, you might want to say that. But pretty much all food has fat, protein, carbohydrates, right? And they come in different forms. So you can just have those minimum baselines and say this much fat, this much protein, this much carbohydrate. I'm going to make sure I have this many servings of fruits or vegetables, and drink my water. And you can still enjoy the region and the culture that you're in without going crazy. All right. And so I hope you have found this helpful. I hope you have a wonderful, in the States, we're celebrating the 4th of July. And so that's what we're doing. And I just wanted to thank you too. I was looking at the health and wellness podcast, and I saw that there is well over 1,000 downloads, which is huge. I started this just as a conversation between me and you, as another mom in the trenches, just trying to share and impart some wisdom around food and why it could be a struggle. So I love the fact that people are listening. And if you want to go deeper with me, I would be honored. You can join the Health and Wellness Blueprint. I have it at only $1, so you can check it out and see if you like it. And then if you want to stay, I offer a really nice discount for that. In the meantime, I hope you have an amazing time seeing friends and family, getting out, enjoying the barbecues, enjoying the season. In North America, it is summer, and so that's where I am, and so that's what I'm talking about. And so I hope you enjoy wherever it is that you are. Friends of mine are moving to Australia, so we threw them a Christmas in July party, or actually, I didn't throw it. A Christmas in July party was thrown for them, and I thought that was really sweet because they're leaving the summer and heading to winter. So it's really interesting. But anyway, so I hope whatever season you're in, spiritually, mentally, and actually physically, that you're enjoying it, and find ways that you can create a lifestyle of health and wellness, regardless of your circumstances, by trying to think outside the box, keep those minimum baselines, which we will go into in more detail next week. Some coaches call them floors or ceilings, but we'll touch on them and kind of create some healthy habits from them. All right. But in the meantime, I would love to see you inside the Health and Wellness Blueprint. I hope your 4th of July is absolutely wonderful and full of all good things. All right. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.